Hi, welcome to URBANesque Living, and I have a wonderful tip for you today. When you purchase those tomatoes from the farmer's market or from any market, and you want to make some salsa or you want to make some type of a sauce, but you don't want the skin from the tomato on that sauce, well, I'm going to show you a tip on how to get that skin off nice and easy. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Chef Tish Tansil, the host of URBANesque Living. Join me Saturday afternoons at 2:30 on Comcast TV 68. Now, you've gone to the farmer's market and you've bought a bushel of tomatoes and you want to make some tomato sauce and you want to get the skin off. How do you do that? Well, I'm going to show you how. The first thing I'm going to do is take these beautiful tomatoes and I'm going to rinse them off. Okay, so now our tomatoes are nice and rinsed and they are ready for us to get the skin off. Now, the tip that I want to share with you today is we're going to lightly score the skin of our tomatoes. But we want to make sure our knife is sharp because we don't want to go in too deeply into the tomato. So I'm just going to run my little paring knife in my knife sharpener just to make sure that it's sharp. And I'm just going to take the knife and make lines down the tomato. And I'm just going to set them into a broiler pan. And you don't have to make them deep and you don't have to make a lot. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set these tomatoes in our oven on broil. And we're going to let them broil on one side for 8 minutes. Okay, so now our tomatoes are underneath the broiler and we're going to let them stay there for about 8 minutes. Okay, so now it's time to turn the tomatoes over. And all you need are some tongs and a little oven mitt to make sure that you don't burn yourself. But you're just going to take the tomato and flip them over. So now we're going to give them another 8 minutes and let them get a little bit of a char on the other side. And that way the skin is going to be released on both sides of the tomato, because if you don't do that, only part of the skin will be released from the flesh of the tomato, and it's going to make it kind of difficult when you work with it. Okay, depending on how much flavor you want in your tomatoes, you can actually let that skin toast and roast a little bit more under that broiler. That will actually give you a nice roasted flavor in that tomato, because you can actually do this on the grill or you can do it on your gas stove, but it works just perfectly underneath your broiler. So I'm going to take these out right now. And as you can see, we have a beautiful oven roasted tomato. So now we're going to let it rest a second because it is kind of hot and I don't want to burn my hands and I don't want you to burn yours either. So we're going to let these cool off just a little bit before we take the skin off. So now we're ready to peel the skin off of the tomato. And this part is actually very easy. You can use a paring knife if you like, but the skin comes off of the tomato so easily. All you have to do is basically just slide it off. And I keep a little container by the side so that I can throw the excess skin in the container and just toss it. If you have a bin in your backyard and you like to compost, you can actually throw your tomato peels in the compost. It's an organic substance. And the birds and the squirrels might enjoy it. Now, depending on what you're making, sometimes you like the seeds in your food and sometimes you don't like the seeds. If you don't like the seeds in the tomato or in your salsa, what you can do is just at this stage, take your paring knife and you're going to slice open the tomato and you're going to take the seeds out. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute, as soon as I finish with this last tomato. Okay, so now all of our tomatoes are de-skinned, unskinned. And I'm going to bring out our cutting board. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to take this stem out of the tomato. And we are going to take our sharpened paring knife and we're just going to cut around that tomato. And you can actually feel where the core of it is as you cut. And you're just going to disregard that. Alright, and we're going to cut our tomato in half. And we're just going to run a knife along the inside of the tomato. Okay. And there you see, you can just lift that seed pod right out very easily. Now you can also do this by hand, and that's easy also. You just basically just take your hand and peel that skin away from the seed pod. Now, as you can see, you lose a lot of juice doing it that way. So we don't want to lose the juice as we take the skin off of these tomatoes because that juice is full of vitamins and full of nutrition and full of flavor. So if you're doing a salsa and you really don't mind having the seeds in there, by all means, just take the tomato and cut it up. And you're good to go. The rest of these tomatoes and get these cores out. Now if you're doing a canning project, sometimes you can just leave the tomatoes whole and just stick them in a can and you do the canning process. We are going to be doing some shows where we are going to be canning in the future. And your tomato is perfectly skinned and ready to use in your salsa, in your salad, or in your grilled vegetable salad. Thank you for tuning in to URBANesque Living.